quit! And we can't really erase the mistakes or missteps from this previous year. But the script for the next 12 months hasn't been written yet. If you have a "there's none besides you, oh Lord" mentality, it should inevitably lead us, Jeff, to go, I'm going to resign from a few things. So I want us to talk through some of those today.
Happy New Year! Yeah. Oh,
it's 2022.
It's 2021.
3,
4.
Man.
Dude, that is crazy. We are 1 year.
I still remember Y2K.
I do too.
And it's 2024.
I still got my water. I still got a case of water. No, I'm just kidding. Get all the water together, you know.
I did the most redneck thing on Y2K.
What is that?
I was like, everybody should come over to we lived, my parents had like it was like the country, but it was like a subdivision. It wasn't like country, but it was still, they had a little bit of land, like 2 or 3 acres or something like that.
Yeah.
There was this little pasture close to where we lived. And so we just shot off fireworks.
Oh, man.
The world's ending. Let's blow some stuff up. It's the most redneck thing on the planet. So fun. I still do it to this day.
Exactly.
Like, hey, no shame here.
Listen, that is awesome. Bro, I'm going to tell you, I can't believe this year we're 1 year away from, get this, half of a century.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like, in 2025, it's going to be half of a century.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's crazy. I don't even know. A
Quarter
quarter century.
century.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Quarter century. Sorry. Quarter century. I know that math. And so, you're like, yeah, Britt.
That PhD wasn't in mathematics.
Quarter century. Only reason I really thought about that is because my son and his fiance are thinking about getting married in 2025.
They gotta hurry this thing up.
Hey, listen, man.
Jay, hit the gas.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, it depends upon how much I need to pay.
Oh,
They
yeah,
just
never
pump
mind.
the brakes.
Never mind.
And so no, but seriously, I can't believe it's 2024, bro.
It's tough getting my head around that.
Yeah. Happy New Year. And I just want you to know, I did not go to a watch night service this.
Praise him. I did watch It's a Wonderful Life.
I know you did. I did.
And my wife cooked up
Oh, man.
she does New Year's food.
Yeah.
Like cauliflower salad that she soaks and marinates in some kind of vinaigrette thing for 3 days. Shrimp dip.
Yeah.
Jalapeno.
Oh,
some
my
kind
gosh.
of dip. 7 layer this, 7 layer that. Oh, sausage balls.
Oh. Yeah.
Blueberry lemon cake.
Oh, come on, man.
Man, we eat.
Oh,
we
my
watch
gosh.
football and we eat.
Listen, I did go
Fish.
And fish, yes. I didn't. It's been a while, but I did have to speak at an event on the 28th, and so it was
a great
phenomenal.
event.
Yeah, it's a great event, and so enjoyed that time. But man, it's good. We're back in the saddle. It's 2024, and this is our first episode of Chasing Elephants 2024. Man,
I quit.
that's the topic
That's
that we're
the
talking
title.
about. I quit. Just in case you did not hear that, this is not AI speaking. This is Brent and Jeff.
No.
I quit.
Done.
It's a wrap.
There's
Finito.
some things that need to come to a close.
That is over. It's over.
One of the traditions in part of that reflecting is, and I know, Jeff, you do something similar to this. I do this around New Year's. Is I write what I've learned down from the previous year, and then I kind of almost like write a charge for myself for the coming year.
Yeah.
And so this is the year of going, okay, there's some stuff I need to quit.
Yeah.
There's some and stuff that I just need to guard my heart against.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to quit it before it even starts.
Right.
Type stuff.
Yeah. We don't do no New Year's resolutions over here.
No,
we just quit.
No, we just quit.
Yeah.
But it's that time. It's
Yeah.
the tree. If you got a real live tree, it's on the curb. If you have a fake tree, if you're an atheist like we are,
It's in the box.
My wife made us go the unbelievers route. She was like, "Yeah, man, we got it. We're getting a. I mean, I still struggle with it. Christmas is over. I still struggle with it. We're getting a artificial tree." And I'm like, "So we're just deconstructing our faith now?" I mean, what?
No, man. Yes, no, man. You listen. The
Sorry,
Lord knows
sensitive.
Yeah, He knows your heart.
I slowed down when I went past the real tree farms throughout the Christmas season, and I
Yeah.
would just slow down and I would just apologize.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I need to say I was sorry.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, One of our neighbors, he purchased a tree. We talked about this last. He purchased one from a place close to our house, and we were over just kind of hanging out, and I saw his real tree, and it wasn't very impressive.
That's part of the reason.
Yeah,
the quality's gone down.
Yeah, and I won't even tell you what he spent on it, but what he spent on his little small unimpressive tree, and he was angry about it.
Yeah,
and he said, but what he said was in the tent where they went, to the farm, when they went in the tent, like, this is probably one of the nicer trees that they had, and then which is why he had to pay almost top dollar for this small tree. So
no, there's a real reason we went the artificial route.
Yeah,
taking it down though.
Yeah,
this is right. You drive the neighborhoods now, and the people who have real trees are out on the curb.
Yep.
It was easy to take this
Yeah.
You don't take lights off of it.
No, man.
You just kind of, and the way my wife did it, we wrapped it up in some cellophane something.
Yep.
And you just set pieces of it in our storage, whatever. We got a little storage shed.
Yeah.
And it's like done.
Yeah,
There's no vacuuming. There's no.
Yeah.
I broke 12 things dragging it out the front door. It just.
My sister's sent this to us. This is a couple years ago. I don't think she does anymore. My mom bought this tree that had like this plastic cover that you could put over it. So what she did, bro. She had a couple trees that I was on. This one major tree, she did take any of the ornaments or anything off. She just kind of squeezed everything together and just put the thing over it.
I know people that do that.
And then put it in like the garage in the corner. So the tree is still decorated. It's just kind of smushed together. And I was like, wait, is that what I think it is? And so my sisters took a picture like, y'all cannot believe this and stuff. So
it's that time.
That's that time.
Trees are on the curb.
Yes, they are.
And, everybody's kind of transitioned to new semester. We're getting back at it.
Yep.
The beginning of January really does kind of provide, I think, us with a sense of new beginnings. December is typically the darkest month of the year, just if you look at daylight and cloud cover and how low the clouds are and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
It's typically the darkest month of the year, which
I
is
was
why
thinking
Christmas is so important, and your Christmas tree has a star on the top of it, because in the darkest time of the year, it reminds us that Jesus is the light of the world.
Yep.
So anyways, we're kind of, everybody's looking towards school. We're headed to that direction. And we can't really, erase the mistakes or missteps from this previous year.
Right.
But the script for the next 12 months hasn't been written yet. And so when we talk about 2024, it's really still hard to even say that.
Right. And
we do so. I want us to do so with this verse from 1 Samuel 2:2 in mind. There is none holy like the Lord, for there is none besides you. And I just, if that's your cry, you are the Holy One. There is none besides you.
Yeah.
If you have there's none besides you, O Lord, mentality,
right,
it should inevitably lead us, Jeff, to go, I'm going to resign from a few things.
Yeah, man.
There's some mentalities, there's some habits, that I'm going to, and so I want us to talk through some of those today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to offer, I quit.
Yeah.
7 areas. I quit.
Okay.
Some of it I quit before I even start.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm tempted.
Yes, sir.
And then I want you to kind of help us get our head around what that is.
So all right, let's do it. Let's jump
short
into
list of things I resign from.
Let's do it.
So that I can have more of a there is none besides you, O Lord mentality.
That's good.
Number 1, I quit from any and all aspirations to become famous through any medium or means, and I resolve to contribute to the fame of Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that has to be first.
Oh, yeah. If we don't have that kind of posture and disposition of humility, and understanding that we need to decrease so that he can be increased in our lives, then what happens is we take our posture of being a lowercase g God and try to substitute the uppercase G God. And so I think that it's important that we don't pursue fame, fortune, but at the end of the day, man, we want to make Jesus known. And in every aspect of our lives. And
but let's be honest about something. Fame means something now that it did not mean 25 years ago.
True.
Fame is something that has become in in the conscience of our culture, not conscience, but in the conscience of our culture, we think that fame is very attainable.
Yeah.
And you have to credit the onslaught of social media platforms to that.
Yeah.
That the fact that there are YouTube people who have their own YouTube channel, and there's tens of thousands of those, by the way. But the fact that if you look at that top list of 25, and they make more than A-list actors in Hollywood.
Yep. Yeah.
And if you look at some of their videos, there's a part of you that goes, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that there's people who have taken off for all different kind of niche reasons on different social platforms. You put all that together, and you go, celebrity's different now than it used to be.
It is.
Fame is different now.
Yeah.
It's not that it's this thing off in Hollywood, and if you go there and work hard, it might happen for you.
Yeah.
It's in your den.
It is.
In wherever your computer is. And you're sitting there in front of your... No, it feels more attainable.
It does.
So I think there has to be a commitment to go, anytime I'm tempted to ascribe or to reach for fame, I resign.
Yeah, yeah. That's so good, man. And, and I think when we think about that from a practical standpoint, Brent, I think about, in my own ministry journey, I'm be honest, and this is just me. I'm not saying if people do it other ways that's right or wrong. I'm just saying for me, for different opportunities that the Lord blessed me to have, I never kind of went out and postured myself to get them. It was like, Lord, whatever you would have for me, whatever door you want open for me, Lord, those are the doors that I want to walk through, because I know that it's the right door for me to walk through.
Right.
But I've just never been one to try to promote or posture myself, and because, one, to be honest, I don't trust myself like that, right? I don't trust myself that I won't chase after an opportunity that's more beneficial to my flesh than it is my spirit. And I think that is so important that, when we want to make sure that that King Jesus is the one that is made known more than anything, and hey, we're following after him, then everything else will take care of itself. And I think we live in a culture where everyone, because this, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute, but we live in this digital driven culture where now everyone has access to you globally, right? And so it is easier to be seen as this influencer, this global influencer, and that's what people want. We just have to be careful, I think, as leaders, as we approach this new year, and really ask ourselves, hey, those things that I'm seeking after, is it pleasing to my flesh or to the spirit?
You're talking about your motivation.
Yeah.
When you say I don't trust myself, I wrote this down, Jeff. Doomed is the person that blindly trusts their motivations.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I'm getting at here is we've got to go. No, anytime there's a part of me that's just tempted towards that.
Yeah.
It's almost like I got to recoil.
Yeah. And my last thing I'll say on this, and then we move on, but we got to be careful to not compare ourselves to what we see out there in culture. Yeah. So I think that's so important. And so yes, I'm with you. I share that. I quit from any and all aspirations to become famous through any medium or means because I resolve to contribute to the fame of King Jesus. I love that. That's good.
My number 2, I quit.
I love this.
I quit.
Yes, sir.
From obsessing over what others think of me, whether it's on a social media or any other outlet, because I resolve to live to an audience of one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and say this out loud and hold me accountable to it, Jeff. I'm going to have to quit that one about 20 times this year.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, probably more.
Yeah, absolutely. The pressure is real, especially in our world, because it's easy, Brent. Let's be honest, man. I mean, I'm on social media, and I look, and I watch, and I click on little videos, see, and I read what's on X/Twitter. I don't care what year it is. It's gonna be Twitter to me, But I'm watching, I'm looking, and I find myself, obsessing sometimes over what others do, and comparing, like I was just saying before, comparing, what we do here in our organization, what I'm doing, as an individual leader, and it is very, very difficult. I have to really suppress that, often. I ask the same, that you hold me accountable of that, because it's easy to do.
It's so easy to do, and it's almost like we live in an era where we're almost programmed to care entirely too much about what other people think of us. Yeah. And so one of the things that I've committed to do this year, and we haven't picked the exact time yet, but we're going to do a digital fast in our house, and we're gonna and we've got a little plan we're putting together. I want to be able to get a hold of my kids when they're out. I want to know they got where they're going safe. Yeah. So there's a way to do that and still have a digital fast. But there's a very real parameter being put in place to guard me from wanting to look at things, compare myself to things. But for me personally, I just get too caught up in what people think of me, say of me. That's a weakness of mine. There's a lot of insecurity there, and so I quit.
Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of quitting to want the applause and the affirmation of the audience of many, because we're resolving what only matters is that we want to please the audience of one. I think that's so important. I mean, and we all suffer, maybe not everyone, but many of us suffer from that desire of, we want the attaboys, that, good job, that affirmation. So I think that's so important there, man. So that's good. All right. What else you quitting? What's the third thing you quitting, man? I love that. Well, we quit. We quit. I quit. We quit.
I quit. The third thing I put down is I quit from a stagnant and sluggish pace.
Oh, man.
Because I realized that God has called me to run the race looking unto Jesus. So I'm not talking about doing more.
Yeah.
I'm talking about focusing more. One of the great pet peeves in my life, Jeff, I just shared a weakness. What I'm saying could be a strength, but if not guarded, could become a weakness. Yeah. I hate being idle. I hate being passive. Yeah. I need to constantly be moving forward. Now, the danger of that is you have a hard time resting. Yeah. You have a hard time slowing down. But what I don't want to do is become so busy in activity that I'm sluggish in my race. Yeah. And you can. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say.
No,
I'll
absolutely.
say it again. You can become so busy in activity, good things, bad things. Hey, you can become so busy in being busy that you get sluggish in your race as running your race unto Jesus.
That's so good. And I think what you're talking about, Brent, is being intentional and efficient, because you can do a lot of stuff, but is it purposeful? Is it God honoring? And is it really taking you down the path of ministry or life or calling that the Lord has for you? And so I think when we recognize that we live in the land of plenty, so we need to have a prayer of, Lord, give me a spirit of discernment so I'll know what is good and pleasing to me. And just as Paul says, he says, everything that is permissible is not beneficial.
Right.
Just because I can don't mean I should.
That's right.
Because the things that I need to do, I need to do that with a spirit of excellence and efficiency.
Amen.
So I love that.
Just because you could doesn't mean you should.
Just because you could.
I'm sorry, I put that in my...
No, that's good. That's
down good. My country road vernacular.
That's good. Oh, man, I love that. All right, we quit number 4.
The fourth thing I quit. I quit thinking more about myself. I want to quit from thinking more about myself, and I'm resolved to esteem and consider others more.
That's good, man.
I just want to get... I want to continually... Well, let me back up and say it this way. The leaders that are the most attractive to me are the ones that you can spend all day around and they rarely talk about themselves.
That's good.
I took inventory this year. One of the exercises I did is look at leaders, is to evaluate the leaders I look up to and to look for commonalities among those leaders. Yeah. And one of the common traits of leaders, this is subjective, it's just my opinion, but of leaders I look up to is that they weren't braggadocious. They didn't talk about themselves a lot. They weren't trying to make themselves the hero of every story they told. In fact, when they did talk about themselves, they primarily talked about what they'd learned from a mistake they had made, or a scar they had, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I found myself drawn to, and it's a very attractive leader who is continually walking in humility.
Yeah.
And so I quit.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the center of attention, and even in my own head.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want my story to be I'm the hero.
Yeah.
Because it's a doomed story if that's the case. So I resign. I quit from thinking about myself, and I resolve to esteem and consider others more.
Man, I mean, I think that's the posture that Jesus took. He says, I didn't come to be served, but to serve, and so I think that's self-explanatory. I think it's so good, and that needs to be our posture, Brent. And so I think that's a great quitting.
Yeah,
that's a great quit.
That's a good one.
That's a good.
That's
quit.
a good one.
That's a good one. And so number 5, what you got? Number 5.
In our anti-New Year's resolution.
Because we don't do no resolutions.
No stinking resolutions. I quit. Number 5, and this is, I'm going to be honest with you. This is one that this year has kind of come to full.
Yeah.
I quit from accumulating more, and I mean that in a very practical way. More earthly possessions, and I resolved to use my resources to enrich somebody else's life.
Yeah.
I am, our family has never lived, we don't have the means to, but we've never even tried to live a very affluent lifestyle. My car has 125,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
My wife drives a nice vehicle, but it's the first time in our marriage in 20 plus years that we actually bought a new vehicle, because when we adopted children, we needed a vehicle to hold more.
Right.
So we went, okay, we've saved up for it. Let's go. And we bought a, but we don't really live, that. But what I know, I just got to the point this last year, both Christina and I, where we went, there's just too much in this house. Even though we don't have the newest toys, the latest gadgets, and there's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't, let's.
Yeah.
So we spent the better part of 12 months purging.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't do it all in one fell swoop, because we wanted to systematically look at different areas of our lives. We've done a lot of purging.
Yeah.
And so we resolve that we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we've quit accumulating.
Yeah.
And we're going to just go, okay, when we have margin, we're using that, whether that's money, time, energy.
Yeah.
We're going to use that to enrich somebody else's life. To the best of our ability, we're going to try to do that.
Yeah, and I think, man, that when you think about purging, I mean, you can apply that to other areas of our lives. What are some things that we that are excessive in our lives, that are unnecessary, and a lot of times when we accumulate a lot of stuff, it takes us off focus on really having, time with God. I mean, I would tell, Quo and I, we kind of have these conversations as well. Like, man, what we value more than presents and gifts is being present with, God, with our family and with our friends. Like, and so I think really reimagining how you approach life when it comes to obtaining things. Like, is it really necessary? I mean, and we're so blessed as a family that, we don't want or need for anything. The Lord has blessed us, and so. But then we're like you, like, man, I really need that, because and then and not to over spiritualize it, Brent, but then I have to ask myself, what was my real motivation for going out to get it? I mean, that's a question. I'm just talking about Jeff. Like the questions I've asked Jeff is like, was that for you, or was that to show others? And I've been convicted a few times of purchasing or obtaining things that it was more for impressing others than it was for benefiting.
One of the things we did in our house this Christmas, and we've always given our children experiences for Christmas. Give them toys too.
Yeah.
There's lots of candy in the stock.
There's
all that's happening.
Yeah, Quo will buy books.
Yeah,
kids hate it.
but no, we do the toys and the but we have more and more shifted, even though we've always done it. We've really put that into high gear, we just don't need more stuff. I mean, we'll do a little toy here and there, but we're giving our children experiences, and those experiences oftentimes lead them to interact with others, which open up doors of opportunity to serve or share or whatever it may be. You know, and like, for example, we gave one of my daughters singing lessons with a particular vocal coach that she wanted to learn from. Yeah. And those lessons, if it works out, she's going to get to try out for this play or that play, and it gets her to be in this community where, and if you were to ask her right now, she wants to go wherever it is. If it's in that play or this, whatever,
that's so cool.
She wants to go share Jesus with those students. And so it's like, okay, this is an experience you received that could open doors for you.
Right.
And so we're really trying to, and we give experiences to create space for us to create more memories with our kids too.
Man, so good. So I love that. Yes, that's good.
So I quit gathering stuff
that you don't need,
and just trying to be very intentional about resources. Number 6. I'm done with this. One.
You quit.
This one I quit. And this one I know some people are going to think, because of the way what we teach at SLU, Jeff, people go, you teach students to think, dream, and lead. What would you do for the glory of God if you knew you wouldn't fail? But I'm going to tell you something. Yeah. I'm guilty, and I need to quit this. I quit from the comfort of mediocre ambitions, and I resolve again to dream big by answering the question, what would I do for the glory of God in 2024 if I knew I would not fail? Now, when something happens, Jeff, and you know this in your journey, leadership journey, and I'm learning this in mine, the more responsibility you have, sometimes the safer you play it.
Oh, man. Come on, talk about it.
Sometimes
that is so good.
Sometimes
so true.
The key, I mean, what I've found is the more responsibility I have, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but because our founder and president, Dr. Jay Strack, has trusted me. I mean, he like, I run our organization. Yeah. I don't mean that in an arrogant way. Yeah, no. Right? And he goes, hey, tell me where you need me. Yeah. And by the way, if we don't call him, he's just like, peace out, homies. You know, I mean, it's so he's been very kind in that regards. But, you know, the more I've led in the last, 5 years in particular, I've gotten too concerned about sustainability. Wow. Now, sustainability should be a value. Yeah. It should be a goal, but it should not be a consuming goal. The goal is not to figure out how to, I'm not just trying to sustain something here. Right? I want to be wrapped up in vision. Yeah. And when you're wrapped up in vision, you'll never fall prey to boring, mediocre ambitions. But if your vision is sustainability, God help you, mediocre is going to be your outcome. Yeah. That is,
it's the byproduct of it, and it drives that. And so I think that's so important that you can you'll have sustainability, when the vision is clear, and that you're pushing properly toward that vision. And I think that is so important. And I think we should always be asking that question, what we do for the glory of God if we knew we could not fail.
And Jeff, you know some of what I'm talking about. We just can't talk about it publicly yet, and Brian does too. But there's some big things we're going to be aiming for.
Absolutely.
And we are strategizing in 2024 to go, no, we're not. Sustainability is not our all-consuming desire. Yeah. It is something we value so that we can do ministry well. But it is not the ultimate goal. The vision that God would have for this ministry, that's the ultimate goal.
That's the goal.
And we have challenged the process of what that is. We've asked God for a fresh wind, fresh fire. We're looking forward. And this year some things are going to happen and be made public because I quit. We quit. We resign from the comfort of mediocre ambitions.
Yeah, man. That's so good. That's so good. We got to come back around that one later on this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will.
So, all right, here we go. Number 7. Number 7 is final one. What did you quit? Number 7.
I quit. I resign. I'm done from worrying about the blessings I don't have.
Wow.
You ever been there?
Oh yes.
It's like what kind of a jerk am I? I'm like, man, I'm thinking about blessings I don't have.
Right.
And all of a sudden, meanwhile, God's already opened the doorway of heaven and poured out a blessing because there's no more need. It seems like. Yet I'm worried about the blessing I don't have.
Listen, I'm laughing because I know that tension all too well. I've had to repent of that reality and that posture and position all too many times, of like God. And then I think there's also been false gratitude that I've given God. God, I thank you for this, but if you could just do that, and so it's like, man, are you really appreciative or grateful for what you have to the point where you have peace, even if I don't give you anything else?
Yeah.
Instead of asking me for more.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, God, if you don't do anything else, you've already done enough.
Yes.
And so, yeah, man, guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
I quit.
Guilty, man.
I tell you, the goal is not, when I say the goal, I think a goal should not be what is the blessing. I think it should be, am I blessable?
That's good.
Being the person that God could trust is more important than being consumed with what you want God to do for you.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of goes back to that old adage. Our job is to do all that we can do in serving God and loving Jesus, but to trust him to do what only he can do.
Yeah.
And so the goal shouldn't be, okay, what is the blessing? Yeah. And I'm not saying you shouldn't pray for things. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm saying first you should ask yourself, am I blessable?
That's a question.
Like you don't want to be running around here acting like a fool going, but you can trust me, God.
Right.
Like if you got a private life that's a wreck and you're addicted to this, that, and the other, but you want God to trust you to lead other people.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Am I blessable?
Am I blessable?
Am I trustworthy?
That's so good.
If that's what consumes you, man, the blessing will overwhelm you.
Yeah. That's, that was one of those 2024 beginning of the year mic drop, put your pen down moments. Like, I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think, I think that's a great question that we should constantly be asking ourselves, maybe even daily asking ourselves, God, please help me, or maybe that is our prayer. God, I want to be in position to be a person who's blessable. Like, even if you don't, it's not about whether he does bless me more. Right. I think it's more about being a person who's blessable, and I think because that speaks to what we're dealing with internally within ourselves, our heart, our minds, our motives, how we approach our day. And so God, that's, that just, when you said that, it's like, man, that's my prayer. God, I want to be blessable.
Yeah.
I want to be blessable.
And part of the reason that one is so important right now is because, Jeff, you and I and our ministry, as Dr. J started it years and years ago with a one-day experience here in Orlando. Part of the reason that's so important is because the Lord trusts us to invest in pastors, into youth ministry practitioners, thousands of them across this country. Yeah. We gather more youth workers together for training than any other ministry in the country, and I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
That's something, so I'm that causes you to go, whoa.
Yeah.
I better watch myself.
Yeah.
Because these are people that God has called to minister to the next generation, and I get to speak into their lives. I better check myself. I better be blessed.
Yeah,
or else God will go, I could use anybody to do that, man. So we got this amazing thing called Youth Pastor Summit.
Yeah.
And for our youth ministry practitioners, and by the way, if you're not, but you know somebody in student ministry, that registration's opening up next week, and it's just a wonderful, encouraging, edifying. I get more out of it than I ever put into it every year. I know you do too, Jeff.
Yeah.
But Youth Pastor Summit is a 2-day experience that we gift.
Yeah.
To youth ministry practitioners, educators, people involved in parachurch. It doesn't matter. If you're working in the lives of this next generation, you're invited. And that means we even end up having a bunch of lead pastors come because they're strategically invested as well. So Youth Pastor Summit, how many cities are we doing this year?
We're doing 5, man. We're going to start in California, then we'll go to Dallas, Texas, and then we'll come to Orlando, then we'll go to Nashville, and we'll end in Chi-Town. And we're actually moving this year, brother. Last year we did just kind of a beta testing in Chicago. It was a 1-day. Now we're going to a full 2-day in Chicago. And so we'll start March 18th in SoCal, and super excited, man. It's going to be a great year. We got a lot of surprise. Got some great practitioners that are going to be coming and sharing and investing in the lives of leaders.
Let me ask you, who every year, one of the things that I love about Youth Pastor Summit is there's two things that really make you. There's three chairs you sit in.
Yeah.
The first one is the chair in the big room,
Yep.
where we're all sitting around together. We worship together in a big room. We celebrate. Somebody's inspiring us on stage.
Yep.
That's fun. The second chair you sit in is a smaller room where we go, man, I want to learn a specific.
Yeah.
I want to get the answer to a specific question. I want to get a tool in my tool belt. I want to right, and so very topical, very like here are real needs that have been expressed. And we do all the research and stuff. But here are real needs that have been expressed. We try to address those with our smaller sessions, our labs or breakouts, if you call them, seminars, if you want to call them that. And then the third chair you sit in is when you go to dinner with somebody.
Yeah,
when
man.
you break bread with somebody. And by the way, I would suggest, Jeff, all three chairs are just as important.
I agree with you, brother.
And so when we look at it from that paradigm, when we get to that room and we're all sitting together, I know you've worked hard. You and the team worked really hard with constructing and building, Youth Pastor Summit 24. What's some things we got to look forward to? Who are some of the guests that we have coming in?
Yeah, man. So we're super excited, and so one, when you talk about we'll talk small room first, and I love the fact that we're going to really have a true thought leader. And Dr. Bill Brown, who's going to come and share some really hot topics, and deal with a lot of
he's dealing with worldview questions.
Yeah, and I think that's
in every city.
Every city, and so I think that's important just to know. And what we have in each one of the cities is we'll have some communicators that will come and kind of speak even around.
Okay, so if the breakouts revolve around topics, what are some of the topics that we're going to be addressing at YPS in those breakouts?
Yeah, so
then let's talk about the main stage and what are some of those communicators.
So we're going to talk practically from just, obviously nuts and bolts, rules, tools, nuts and bolts, some practical approaches of staff retention and recruiting. I think you always, in student ministry, that's always going to be just high level stuff that you'll be doing. We'll have girls ministry things that we're going to be doing. But then, Brent, what we're going to do is we're going to really kind of get into what we call trending topics. Like, how do we really kind of answer questions that this generation is going to be dealing with, or this generation will be wrestling with. And so we're going to really have this focus where every city we're going to answer ethical questions in these small group labs. So you'll have people who will help us, like Dr. Sean McDowell, who will help us, answer the question, how do we really...
Shout out to Sean. Hey, buddy, if you're listening, we're so happy that you're healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big health
thank you.
scare
Yeah,
this
let's
past
pause
year,
for that, man.
We rejoiced and prayed over that.
Yeah, and really love
Or prayed and then rejoiced over that, sorry.
Yes, and we have people like that, him and D.A. Horton, that will come in. D.A. will be in Dallas, particularly. But we'll have all these guys and ladies helping us deal with some ethical issues. We're also, Brent, we're dealing with, some mental health things. I think that's a topic that is really, really challenging, especially when we come off of this we're still kind of in that post-COVID era where we've seen the psychological impact of it.
It's going to be with us for a long time, no doubt.
And so
all the studies are showing.
So these leaders are going to be dealing with these type of topics.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, mental health is going to be a focus for our labs and breakouts.
Sexual ethics,
worldview questions, and nuts and bolts. In other words, the rules and tools of how to do youth ministry well.
Yeah. And so all across every last one of them, we'll deal with that.
All right, give me something to look forward to in the big room.
In the big room, man, we always have leaders who are going to be kind of like your practitioners. And so we love this year still we'll have our Levi Lescos who will be there. We'll have our Eugene.
Levi Lesko, pastor of a very, how many, I don't know, it's like 15 campuses.
I can't keep up.
He's one of my favorite preachers, though. He does such a good job.
Yeah.
Levi and his family
are phenomenal.
Very kind and to give us their time. I say family because their family gives his time to come serve at Youth Pastor Summit. Levi Lusko is an incredible preacher and communicator. Who else we got?
Yeah, we got obviously Eugene Cho. He'll be coming back, and we love Eugene Cho. He's such a dear friend and a great communicator. Man, we're excited this year. We have a newbie, a couple newbies to the fold. Derwin Gray. Yeah. I remember. I don't know if you remember the evangelism linebacker.
He's probably trying to forget it about now. It's like KB's church clap. Really?
Yes.
You're bringing that up?
I promised him I won't. But yeah. So
I love listening to him preach. For years, I've loved listening to him preach. I'm so excited he's not just at YPS.
No, he's at Orlando with you for Lift Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so excited to have him with us. We also, man, we have, I feel like this gentleman who's family to us, brings so much to our audience. But David Nasser, he'll be there, and a couple of our cities sharing. Then we also have Carlos Whitaker, who will be joining us in Orlando. And so we're excited about
Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. That's
he's been with us several times before.
Yeah, and it's been a minute, and
it has.
And so we wanted him to come back and hang out with us.
Man, I hope he's going to talk about how to use social media in a very redemptive way.
Yeah.
His ministry, he has shifted, and he's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
He's an author.
Yeah.
The guy can lead worship.
Yeah.
He can speak.
Yeah.
It's like people who can dribble with both hands.
Yeah,
You're like, I don't really like you that much.
Yeah.
But, anyways. But no, he really his Insta family thing that he's done. It's very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah, yeah. And then, man, obviously we're going to have, fan favorite who comes back, and we get high marks when Megan Faye, she comes and
Megan Faye marks.
Megan Faye, she's coming.
Love her.
Megan Faye. But then also, man, new to the family is we do have Rebecca Lyons that we are able to have. So we got some new faces in the place that and what I love is all of them bring a different perspective to leadership and ministry there for Youth Pastor Summit. So excited. It's going to be a great
Tell us our cities again.
So you got
real quick.
West Coast is SoCal first. That's California. Then we go Dallas, Orlando, Nashville, then Chicago.
But all registration for all of them open up on the same date, right?
Yes, on January 9th. January 9th. So mark your calendars, January 9th.
Doesn't it open at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Yes, sir. It will be. And then we have, I don't know if you have not followed him, you should. This guy by the name of Shama for Reals.
He's going to be hosting.
He's going to be hosting. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so funny.
He is. So I'm excited about him.
He's like, this may be the first time that the host is the most... is the most memorable part of Youth Pastor Summit.
Yeah,
he's hilarious.
So he's going to be at all of our cities, and then we'll also
have you seen what him and John Chris are doing lately?
I have not.
It's
no.
like a silly knockoff docuseries thing where they're it's two men in search for the most interesting church in the world.
Are you serious?
And it's them with their twisted, awesome senses of humor.
Yeah.
Going into different churches and experiencing it.
Dude.
So funny.
Listen.
So funny.
I'm telling you, and he's been awesome just in talking to him. He's super excited.
He's hosting all of them?
All of them.
All five.
Yeah, all five. And so, and when I say excited, he's super excited. And listen, we got some surprise in each city with him that we're going to be doing. And so it's going to be fun.
I want to say this, guys. Traditionally, there is a flood of registrations on January the 9th. Now, there's some of you that are just sitting back laughing right now because you're in the VIP list. You're already registered. You don't care.
Right.
But there's a flood of registrations and by the way, if you're part of SLU, Lift Tour, and you haven't got an email from us to register, just reach out to us directly on social. We'll make sure you get that so that you can guarantee your seat before registration opens on January the 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, it fills up quick.
Yeah.
And it's first come, first serve.
Yep.
And let's just go out and let's just say it, Jeff. Yeah. Ain't nothing you and I can do about a full room.
We cannot. Listen.
We can't perform miracles.
We cannot.
I love you. Some of you are my buddies. I can't help it. If it's full, it's full.
Yeah.
We're going to squeeze as many as we can in. But first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Set your clocks.
Yeah.
Set a reminder.
Yeah.
Register on January the 9th for Youth Pastor Summit. Probably my favorite lineup that we've had thus far.
Yeah.
Mainly because I know a couple of the surprises.
Yeah.
that you're not allowed to say right now. Our breakouts are more intentional than ever before, and I think it's going to be our largest gathering from all appearances that we've ever had. And so make sure that you mark your calendar. We'll put that in the show notes below. Youth Pastor Summit coming to a city near you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for starting your year off with us. Thanks for allowing Chasing Elephants to be a resource that you allow into your life, whether it's on a car ride or on a treadmill or on a run, or just kind of maybe you're listening to it when you're supposed to be paying attention in class. The Lord will forgive you for that. We're happy. And so but either way, however you listen and wherever you listen, we're incredibly grateful.
Absolutely.
Until we meet again, wander well and shine like stars.
I quit.